For centuries, the imposing Golden Gate of Jerusalem has stood silent, bricked shut, according to ancient prophecy. But that prophecy just got broken wide open. The gate is unsealed. Does this mean the prophesied return of Jesus is upon us? Or is there something else? The Golden Gate in Jerusalem is located in the eastern wall of the Temple Mount. This wall has been built in different stages over time by different rulers like Hezekiah, Zerubbabel, the Hasmoneans, and Herod. The current Golden Gate is believed to have been built on top of an older gate that was part of the eastern wall. Historical records mention an eastern gate in this area, which was considered part of the sacred inner court of the Temple Mount. There were discussions among scholars about whether there was a causeway or pillars leading from the Temple Mount to the Mount of Olives, and this gate, known as the Shushan Gate, was only used by the high priest and his helpers during specific religious ceremonies. The exact date of the Golden Gate's construction is uncertain because Muslim authorities have prohibited archaeological excavations on the Temple Mount. Early scholars had various opinions on when the gate was built, but more recent research suggests it was likely constructed in the 7th or 8th century AD during the Umayyad period. However, some still believe it could have been built during the Byzantine period around 520 AD. Dutch archaeologist Leen Ritmeyer explored the gate in the 1970s and found evidence suggesting that it dates back to the First Temple period. The gate was originally known as the Shushan Gate and was the only gate in the eastern wall of the Temple Mount, according to Jewish tradition. Over the centuries, the Golden Gate has been opened and closed multiple times by different rulers. It was closed by Muslims in 810, reopened by the Crusaders in 1102, and then walled up again by Saladin after he regained control of Jerusalem in 1187. Ottoman Sultan Suleiman the Magnificent rebuilt the gate as part of the city walls, but he also sealed it shut in 1541, where it has remained closed ever since. There are different reasons given for why the gate was sealed by Suleiman. Some suggest it was purely for defensive purposes, while others believe it was to prevent the Messiah, according to Jewish tradition, from entering Jerusalem. There's also a belief that the gate was sealed to prevent a false Messiah or Antichrist from coming through. The Ottomans even built a cemetery in front of the gate to prevent a false precursor to the Messiah, Elijah, from passing through. During the Ottoman era, a small mosque was built near the Golden Gate to accommodate brick burners who were burning bricks for renovations in the Haram-esh-Sharif, the Temple Mount enclosure. Later, part of the gate's wall was destroyed to make room for renovations, and a new wall and 2 new arches were added. The gatehouse itself is accessed by descending a wide flight of stairs from the Temple Mount, and inside, there's evidence of an ancient arch buried beneath the ground. The Ottoman Turks transformed the sealed gate into a watchtower, adding to its defensive capabilities. However, despite its closure and transformation over the years, the Golden Gate remains a significant and intriguing part of Jerusalem's history and religious traditions. There are various reasons given for why the gate was sealed, including defensive purposes and religious beliefs about preventing the Messiah or false messiahs from entering Jerusalem. Over time, the gate has undergone renovations and additions, including the construction of a small mosque nearby and the transformation of the gate into a watchtower by the Ottoman Turks. Access to the Golden Gate from inside the Temple Mount was blocked by Israeli authorities in 2003 because the group managing the area had ties to Hamas, a group considered a terrorist organization by many countries. The gate remained closed to prevent illegal construction work by the Islamic Waqf, which Israeli officials believed was causing damage to ancient artifacts from Jewish history in the area. In February 2019, the interior of the gate was reopened for Muslim worshippers from the Temple Mount. However, the gate itself remained sealed, meaning people couldn't pass through it. The Golden Gate has 2 passages or ways to enter. It's designed with 2 doorways, followed by a double passage covered by 3 pairs of domes. Inside, there's a vaulted hall divided by 4 columns into 2 aisles, which lead to the Door of Mercy and the Door of Repentance. Upstairs, there's a room with two roof domes. The Golden Gate is a rectangular stone structure with two decorated sides. Unlike other gates in the Al-Aqsa enclave, the eastern side of the Golden Gate sticks out 2 meters from the enclave's wall. Originally, the eastern side of the Golden Gate had 2 big doorways separated by a column. Each doorway was about 390 meters wide and supported a semicircular arch with a decorated design. These doorways were closed up during the Ottoman period. Some features of the Golden Gate's decoration resemble designs found in other buildings in the Levant region. Inside the gate, there's a rectangular domed area measuring about 20.37 meters in length and 10.50 meters in width. The area has 6 shallow domes, 2 of which were changed later. These domes are separated by arches of an elliptical shape supported by 2 pilasters at the entrances and 2 central columns. Each dome is built over a square plan, which means special stones were needed to form the circles of the dome. The way the gate sticks out from the wall by 2 meters is an interesting architectural feature, as it clearly marks its location. The big question about the Golden Gate is why it was built this way and what its purpose was. Since the early days of Muslim rule in Beit al-Maqdis, now known as Jerusalem, some Muslims have connected the eastern wall of the Al-Aqsa enclave with the Last Day, or Judgment Day. Even though this wall isn't specifically mentioned in the Quran, it's been used as an example to explain a verse about a wall and gate in the Quran. This connection has led Muslims to bury their dead near this wall, thinking it's a special place related to the end of times. The gate in this wall is called Bab al-Rahmah, which means Gate of Mercy. It's believed to have been built during the early Islamic period and is considered the most important gate of the enclave. Some scholars suggest that the gate symbolizes an entry to paradise or a place of mercy. According to Jewish tradition, the eastern gate was where the divine presence, known as the Shekinah, used to appear. It's believed that the Shekinah will appear again when the Messiah comes, and a new gate will replace the present one. This is why Jews used to pray for mercy at this gate, especially during medieval times when they couldn't access the city where the Western Wall is located. That's also why it's called the Gate of Mercy. In Christian stories not found in the Bible, the gate is said to be where Mary's parents met, making it a symbol of Mary's immaculate conception. This meeting between Mary's parents, Joachim and Anne, became a common subject in Christian artwork, depicting the life of the Virgin. Some people even think the gate mentioned in the Bible's Book of Acts, called the Beautiful Gate, is the same as the Golden Gate, but not everyone agrees. This confusion might come from a similarity between the Latin and Greek words for beautiful and golden, but there isn't clear evidence to support this. According to Christian tradition, Jesus rode through this gate on a donkey during Palm Sunday, fulfilling a Jewish prophecy about the Messiah mentioned in the book of Ezekiel. The Synoptic Gospels support this belief by describing Jesus coming from the direction of the Mount of Olives and arriving at the Temple Mount. However, the Gospel of John suggests that the Pharisees watched Jesus' arrival, possibly from the Temple Mount. Some people believe that the Golden Gate represents a fulfillment of the prophecy in Ezekiel, which speaks of a gate through which the glory of the Lord would enter the temple. However, biblical scholars using the historical grammatical method of interpretation argue that Ezekiel's prophecy refers to a temple gate, where the glory of the Lord would dwell among the people of Israel forever. They suggest that Ezekiel's vision may be figurative, symbolizing the church rather than a literal temple. In medieval Christian art, the Golden Gate is depicted in scenes of Jesus' maternal grandparents, Joachim and Anne, meeting at the gate. This imagery symbolizes the Christian ideal of chastity within marriage. The tradition of a bridegroom carrying his bride across the threshold of their marital home may have been influenced by the symbolism of the Golden Gate. Pope John Paul II also explored the symbolism of crossing the threshold in his Theology of the Body, a collection of reflections on human sexuality and relationships. He used the metaphor of crossing the threshold to encourage Catholics facing challenges of materialism and secularism. In Christian eschatology, the East symbolizes Christ's resurrection on Easter Sunday and the direction of his second coming. Christian sanctuaries are often oriented towards the East, and city gates may contain religious artifacts to bless travelers and protect the city. For example, the Ostra Brahma in Vilnius, Lithuania, contains an icon of Our Lady of the Gate of Dawn, venerated by both Roman Catholic and Orthodox believers. The opening of the Golden Gate in Jerusalem has stirred up a lot of talk among different religious groups, sparking debates and interpretations. For many Jews and Christians, the gate's opening is seen as a sign of the Messiah's imminent arrival. This belief is rooted in ancient prophecies that connect the Messiah's triumphant entry into Jerusalem with the Golden Gate. It has renewed hope and excitement among believers, breathing new life into these age-old prophecies. However, the gate's reopening has also raised questions among skeptics. Some doubt its significance, attributing the event to natural processes or human intervention rather than divine intervention. Despite these doubts, the allure of the Golden Gate remains strong. Whether you see it as a divine sign or a historical curiosity, the gate continues to captivate and inspire. The opening of the Golden Gate has not only sparked religious debates, but has also become a platform for interfaith dialogue and cooperation. Additionally, the gate's historical and cultural significance may attract academic and research institutions, leading to further studies and publications about the site. Like, share, and subscribe to our channel.